This is Soul Boogie coming at you with the top 5 in 5 minutes. High dose of information for those of us with a short attention span. Today we're covering the top 5 indicators to know if you are enslaved or free. I'm talking about true, bona fide economic and mental slavery. So pay attention because it's gonna happen quickly and you might miss something. Without further delay, here are my top 5 indicators that you are enslaved. Number 5, restrictions on food choice. The master eats whatever he or she wants. They also eat the healthiest, most up-to-spec items available. But the slaves, well, they eat the scraps, and if that particular food keeps the populace docile, even better. Can an obese person put up a fight? Not likely. The FDA and many other governments around the world use the guise of ensuring food is safe to eat in order to limit what options we have. Don't fall for the hype. Number 4, restricted movements. If you can ever pay off your ridiculously high mortgage plus interest, maybe and only maybe then you would not be tied down just like the serfs of yesteryear. And don't forget about that dead-end low-paying job. How could you possibly leave and start a new life, much less go on vacation, when you have mountains of debt weighing you down? Number 3, forced inoculations. Virginia recently passed a law that all females under a certain age had to get the HPV vaccine. All for their own protection, of course. But when you are being robbed, who is protecting you? Certainly not the police. Shouldn't we have a choice of what enters into our bloodstream, good or bad? I call that an invasion of privacy and cruel and unusual punishment. Soon they will be sending SWAT teams to inoculate people and doing random health screenings at airports. I'm not making this up. Do your research. Number 2, excessive laws. Doesn't there seem to be more and more laws? How come we never know when a new bill or law is adopted? Why aren't we informed what rights we still have? Such laws like no spitting on sidewalks, forced inoculations, no capturing of rainwater, and many more that we have no clue about are severely restricting our freedoms without our knowledge. Hammurabi posted his laws in every major city's epicenter. I have a hard time finding the laws I'm required to follow on my state's website. Why is that? Number 1, forced labor. In ancient Athens, it was considered shameful to be another man's servant, the same as it should be today. In Rome, slaves were required to brutally kill each other. If we had a say-so, I'm sure 75 to 90% of us would not be working the jobs we do today. But we continue because we must. Housing is not affordable enough to pay off in one lifetime. No one farms anymore, and God forbid we have to borrow some money because we are not making enough to sustain. Then the banks will own us too. Here are the top 5 ways to free yourself. Number 5, get and stay out of debt. First, cut up all those credit cards, pay off all your loans, and pull your money out of the bank. The more money you owe the banks, the longer you will be enslaved. Number 4, learn a trade worth bartering for. Forget about getting a stable job. In the end, you can always be laid off at the drop of a dime. How about learning a trade people will always want and need? And then you can work for yourself. Look into learning skills like electrician, plumber, carpenter, farmer, doctor, and likewise. Just think, if all of a sudden money were worthless, what would you trade food and water for? Learn that skill that comes to mind. Number 3, become self-sustaining. You do not have to go to the extreme and be an ultimate off-the-grid survivor. Start small. Build a water capture system, grow a few herbs in a jar, sprout seeds, or even just start baking from scratch. Whatever it takes to make yourself more reliable on yourself. Number 2, form a nonviolent group and demand change in your government. Martin Luther King did it this way, and so did Gandhi, but others like Malcolm X and Spartacus did not, and that is why they failed. Get together with some like-minded individuals and peacefully protest. Number 1, free your mind. If you learn how to meditate and elevate your mind to another level, well, then absolutely none of this matters. At the peak of mental evolution is what the Buddhist religion calls nirvana. It is loosely defined as a mental state in which your mind becomes so clear and your body so still that every bodily function stops and time disappears. It takes a long time and lots of devotion to reach nirvana. Just imagine being as wise and powerful as Buddha or Jesus or the Himalayan masters. That is the goal with meditation, and I think that is the only real solution. So please remember to always research for yourself. The internet has a wealth of information. Get at it while you can, because even our precious books are being edited and or banned. In closing, I'd like to say, for those of you who haven't seen them, check out my last 2 videos and subscribe to this channel for all the latest raves and rants from yours truly. And that's all she wrote. Until next time, Soul Boogie signing off. Holla at ya, boy.